What's up, everyone? Welcome to Barstool Breakdown, episode 46. Shout out to Alfred Morris with one of the weirdest running back numbers of all time. And shout out to all you subscribers out there. We have over 1,200 subscribers now, but there are still 60+% of you guys listening not subscribed. Please just hit that subscribe button. Only takes a second, helps us out. Either way, hit the like, drop a comment, let us know who you want to see next, because this week we got a great interview for you guys. We have one of the early Barstool employees. We talk about his time from before Barstool, when he started at Barstool, all the way through now. It's the guy that's traveled the most at the company. It's the Wonton Don. Let's get it.
Get sturdy as fuck. This is it.
I should be over all the butterflies, but I'm into you. And baby, even on the worst nights, I'm into you.
All right, we're here with a very special guest. It's one of Barstool's OGs. You might know him from shitting his pants, but winning a Chinese Superbowl with the Shanghai Warriors, or from his travels to Mount Everest, Japan, Tajikistan, Zimbabwe, Iraq, China, Colombia, and the Balkans, probably even more that I forgot, or maybe even from Gooned Up, Hong Kong Sevens, Last Chance Uganda, Mad Honey videos, or rediscovering Demerica. It's Barstool's international correspondent. It's the Wonton Don. How we doing, brother?
Good, and you?
yeah.
I'm good. Nice long intro for you.
Yeah, you can summarize it there. Hell of an intro. He forgot Dominican Republic, where I believe you got robbed with White Sox Dave.
Yep, right.
But I mean, that I think what I did is I sent Frankie your YouTube tabs. I was like, that's the most tabs I've ever seen on YouTube. It's insane, like your past. And so let's just hop right into that. I always start with what got you into Barstool, and your story's got to be crazy. I think you have a line in your Barstool page. It's woke up in Shanghai in 2012 and never looked back. So what explain that to me, because I got into I really started digging into Barstool maybe 2 years ago. So your past is beyond what I've consumed. So I'd love to hear what got you into the pirate ship.
Sure. So I mean, growing up in Massachusetts, it's obviously huge there, but it didn't really get on my radar until junior year of college. Because that's it used to be a newspaper that they would hand out on people's morning commutes, but that's not when I had a morning commute. I was still in school. So then when it became a blog, and this was probably around 2009 or something, people started talking about random blog articles, and it was just starting to get popular there. Now every college in America at least knows what it is, but it wasn't as well known, but it was starting to get popular in New England. So that's when I started reading the blog. And then when I graduated college, I taught in China for what I thought was going to be 10 months. So I did not black out at Logan Airport and then wake up in Shanghai. But that is when I first started to make the Donnie Does China videos. That's what I told people. The whole storyline was that I had 13 Long Island iced teas in Terminal B of Logan Airport and somehow woke up in China. And then
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What a fucking story. That's just, people must have just been like, wait, what?
Yeah, I had this one guy who hit me up. He's like, well, actually, you need a visa to enter China, so that just can't be real. I'm like,
it's no shit,
dick.
Sherlock. Yeah. Great investigative work, you asshole.
Yeah.
Fuck off, man.
Yeah. That's where I first started making fish out of water videos in China, because I had a friend from college that was out there too, and he knew how to film and do basic video editing. So after I saw what a hilarious place China was, we started filming some content. And I was also still following Barstool closely after I moved to China, because they had all these websites blocked. In China, YouTube was blocked, Gmail, Twitter, Instagram, but Barstool Sports was not blocked over there.
What? They snuck through the firewall. Jesus.
Yeah.
Too small at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
So I was still following Barstool closely. I remember even when at times when I stopped paying attention, there would always be something that would pull me back in. So the Portnoy and KFC freestyle battle, or not freestyle battle, but their rap battle.
Yeah.
That sucked me right back in. That was absurd.
Watching
and-
Coley try to make Dave match up with those beats was one of the most painful things I've had to ever watch on Stool Scenes. It was just so
oh
funny.
yes, yeah,
He
yeah.
just
I
could
think
not catch the beat at all.
Yep. Yeah, I think he like hit the studio of Mike Stud too, or something.
Yeah,
at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Dave is many things. He is not rhythmic. I don't think he has like rhythm.
No, you're right. Because I remember now, Mike Stud said he had to turn the beat off and he just made Dave say the words and he just took the clip and matched it up to where he wanted it to be on the beat. I remember that. And that was how it ended, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, which is hilarious.
Yeah, no. I mean, I've seen Dave just try to clap along to a song and like he can't do it on beat. I don't know.
God.
He probably blames his shoulder for that one, like everything else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I started making those vids with a friend, and Barstool, at least they shared the first 2 vids I ever made, which was great. Like the first one was me teaching kids in China, but teaching them like Yankees suck and we love Kevin Garnett. And I remember Dave blogged that video and he was like, is this guy in Chinatown? Because there's like no way he's actually doing this in China. But no, I was indeed in China. And then my next video was my first Shanghai Sharks video, Let's Go Sharks. And they shared that too. So I was like, oh, this is sweet. Because normally it's hard to kind of get views on YouTube right off the bat. But those first 2 vids did well because they were shared by Barstool. And that,
Now,
I guess, yeah.
do you think like you being from Massachusetts had you on Dave's radar like because of that, or was it just like surprising to see this guy like teaching Chinese kids how to say Yankees suck? Like does your origin from Boston help out? Do you think like that helped at all, or was it really just like
Dave thought the Yankees suck and Kevin Garnett was the shit too.
So yeah, I guess that helped. Yeah. Were you pandering?
Yeah, I mean, and those like first few vids I made, I'm trying to be like the quintessential masshole, like of sorts out there. But I wasn't pandering towards Dave or Barstool Sports. I was just more pandering because like growing up in Mass, like I knew a lot of people like that, and like they weren't like the most avid world travelers. And so like when I ended up in China, I was like, throwing one of these guys just in the middle of China when he has no idea how he got there would be hilarious. So I just like I'd been making vids like that for like, I'd even made a few kind of like masshole vids like that back in Boston. And I was just like, it's so much funnier when it's out in China. So yeah, I was obviously hoping they would share it, but no, I wasn't doing the Yankees suck to get on his radar.
Right, you're just teaching the Chinese kids some culture. I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like when I went to a Shanghai Sharks game, it was just like, all right, even though like Chinese basketball isn't even that popular amongst Chinese people, but I was like, I'm gonna go to this game and treat the game like it's a Celtics playoff game and just be going nuts.
That's incredible.
Was there any other fan in that entire stadium like that? Because I feel like China's like a very like low key. There's no one like screaming crazy like we have here at those games. But I might be way wrong.
You haven't been to a ping pong event, brother.
That's not basketball though.
Yeah, true.
Definitely not at like the first season or 2 I was there. You did start seeing more rambunctious fans. Like I remember at one point there was some Chinese fans were pissed at the ref and they were like throwing Subway sandwiches like onto the court, trying to hit the ref and like screaming at him. So a little bit. You are getting more passionate fans. I think they get really passionate about soccer as well.
Right. You mentioned that Little
League baseball.
In the beginning, that you said like you had made a couple of videos, then they first got retweeted. What was or reposted by Barstool? I'm sorry. When did you first start streaming, making videos? Like, was there like an origin to it? Was it just that like you moved to China and you're like, I kind of want to like, put this out, or was there something before that? Because I know like for content creators, you look at Frankie and I, little Barstool fans making their own content, but like for content creators, the start is usually like scary. So if you're going, straight to main page of Barstool. I mean, that's got to be huge. I didn't know if you did anything before that also or not.
No, I mean, when I was really young, like 7th and 8th grade, I would fool around trying to make videos with friends, like on my dad's camcorder.
Right. So it really was just like there in China to where it just all started, that's insane, and the way it took off.
Yeah, and then in college, I had done a couple videos just called Donnie the Townie, where I was on a stoop in Medford, and I would just go on like a 2-minute rant. And like I made that with the friend that that friend was the one who convinced me to move to China, because he went abroad to Shanghai, and then he like loved it so much he was like, I'm just going to stay in Shanghai.
Oh, really?
And then I was graduating from college, didn't know what I wanted to do. He was like, you can definitely find a job out in China just for like a year, and then use your vacations and weekends to do some traveling. So I was like, all right, yeah, I'll go out to China for 10 months. I'll travel when I have free time, and then I'll come back to the US and find like a more permanent job. But yeah, I ended up making some solid friends, so decided to stay. And then that's when I just started making those vids with my friend who had time, because he was happy to help. Like at that point in my life, I didn't know really how to like film or edit. So, but luckily, like he was down to, do the editing and help me film it. And so, yeah, the first 2 vids got shared by Barstool. That was great. But then it was like another, 2 or 3 years before they shared another vid.
Oh, wow.
And so it's like, I wasn't getting a lot of the views on my vids for a while, but it was still fun to do. So I was like, yeah, I'm down to keep on doing it. I'm having fun. Like, as long as my friend had the time to help. And they eventually, I don't know, I forget how much it was at least 2 years later, maybe 3, but then I had like 2 vids that went viral back to back. And one was sneaking into a Pacquiao fight in Macau in Asia. I just kind of like talked my way in and ended up sitting courtside, like next to his family. And actually, after the fight, I got in the ring, and you can see me on the HBO broadcast of the fight.
That's on your video, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on my old YouTube page. Donnie Does. And
yeah,
then,
no,
yeah.
I've looked at them all. I think that's crazy, man. That's old
sneaking
school.
into a Pacquiao fight and getting into the ring. I mean, Frankie was almost jumping in to save Frank the Tank at Rough and Rowdy. We can't compare.
Yeah.
But
that's my ringside. Rough and Rowdy.
So that one goes viral, and then you have another one. At what point do you get into like the Chinese Super Bowl stuff? It amazes me. How do you get on a Chinese football team in the first place?
Before you answer that though, what year was this when you started doing those videos, like with your buddy and stuff?
I think my first vid was probably 2012, something like
12.
that.
Okay, I think you might have said that already.
Yeah, and so I had a couple, and then the second like viral vid was I pretended to be Roger Federer in China and convinced like hundreds of Chinese people that actually was him. So I like signed a bunch of expensive purses and shit like that.
Pictures and shit, dude.
Yeah. And so at that point I was like, okay, I think I reached back out to Barstool, and I was like, all right, these vids are going viral. Like, could I potentially work for you? And I don't know how, somehow that fell through, because we were emailing back and forth. And then at some point it just went cold and I didn't hear back from him. So, yeah, eventually I got to the point where I was still making vids, having fun doing it, but I was like, I'm going to have to find a real job at some point. Cause like my friend who was helping me, he didn't have as much time anymore to help. And so, yeah, I was planning on like moving back to the US and finding a job. And then that's when, I eventually was able to get on Barstool Idol. And that was probably like a year after I had really been making vids. So I'd kind of like stopped making vids for a while. But then when the churning deal happened and Barstool was looking to expand, they did Barstool Idol to find a new employee. And thankfully, when I showed up, they were like, okay, we don't need you to do this whole competition, because like we've already shared your videos in the past. You have like a huge backlog of work. And yeah, he just at least verbally gave me the job there. And then I think Francis was the one who ended up winning that season.
Was that the Michigan Man season? That was the first one?
No, the Michigan Man season was later. That was like the second season, I think.
Oh, that was the second one. Okay. I was confused. I was like, I don't remember seeing you in that one. I guess that's why.
Yeah.
Who won? Do you remember who won the Michigan Man season? Was that when Tate was going to win and Marty ended up winning?
It was Mantis and Marty.
Right. Okay.
And then
I remember Tate was like in the front running, but he had to leave, and for some reason, okay.
And man, had to drop out of college or something.
Yeah. And then I think and Tate just I think just went up to Dave and was like, I would rather just blog and be like a behind the scenes guy.
Yeah. Now look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So luckily that's how I was able to get the job, and I kind of just pitched a bunch of things of like things I could film out in China. And I think I looked back at the interview and I think I did film everything that I said I was going to do. I don't know if the football series was like something I mentioned. It may have been. But yeah, you brought that up. That was like one of the coolest things I've filmed, but definitely the hardest. Because what
was the year you started at Barstool? I should have said that before. Sorry. I don't want to.
Oh, it was February of 2017.
17. So do you know what employee number you are?
At one point they handed out these jackets and like
everyone says that.
Yeah.
You don't remember your number?
No, I was in the 40s. I was either like
okay, 40, so early. Yeah. I thought
so maybe 41.
Did you know Stephen Che is 18?
I did not know that.
Is that
it shocks us?
It wasn't. I was shocked. I was just like, dude, what? So anyway, sorry. But yeah, you were getting into the Chinese stuff. I just wanted to get that out there because people like to know when you guys started and what employee number you were. So go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's wild. I was hired early, but then I used to spend the majority of my time abroad, and then I would only be back in the office for at 1 month of the year. So it's even though I've been at the company for a while, I didn't always feel like I knew everybody at the company that well because I would come back for a month over the summer and then just be abroad the rest of the time.
Were you doing blogs that were titled Barstool Abroad? I saw it somewhere, or was that just like the part of your series? I saw the title Barstool Abroad. I think I have it written down somewhere, but I don't know if that was like the name of the series or was it the blogs?
Yeah, that's just how I branded some of my travel series.
That's it. Okay.
It was kind of in hopes that if I called it Barstool Abroad, it'd be easier to find a sponsor. That has not really worked, but at least I tried.
Yeah. But what made the Chinese football series? What was it? The Shanghai Warriors. What made that so hard? Was it? I mean, were you going to every practice? How'd that work?
Yeah, I would some practices I would go and just not even film, just because it's I don't have a cameraman. I'm not gonna film a practice selfie style. But I felt if I wanted the respect of the players on the team, I couldn't just be showing up for games. Yeah. And also I was not good enough to just be showing up to games. I actually needed some practice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, that was tough just because I didn't have a full-time cameraman working for me. So I was just using different freelance camera people. And a few times we traveled, and I think once I traveled with a camera guy, the other time we had a game in Hong Kong and I just found a dude in Hong Kong that was able to film for me. But then the editing, that was the first kind of documentary style that I filmed. Mm-hmm. So where it's VOs and you're setting you want to explain the backstory of how there even came to be a football league in China. And then it's you can't predict what's going to happen in that season. Thankfully it worked out perfectly.
No shit.
Yeah.
Well done.
So that's the thing. And then it's when I did the Uganda series with Billy Football, it's we lost twice in a row. Yeah. But but the Shanghai Warriors, it was just a fairy tale season, and we got to travel to Hong Kong, Chengdu, and some random third tier city that I forget. But so each of the episodes focused on a different game, and I felt each game had its own character and was different enough to kind of make the whole series exciting.
Yeah, it had its own story to it. It had an episode. It was a series. It was, that's a very unique thing for like a vlogger to have. You know, most vlogs are more so like you said, VOs, just trying to like really like what I've posted recently, just like telling my trip to Chicago or whatever. But I think like watching your videos, you can definitely learn from, like, set the scene of where you're at, how it came to be, and how you're about to go win a Super Bowl. I think that you could, I think you have, I mean, your page is big enough. You have inspired a bunch of vloggers and content creators to go out and like travel and do stuff, which is something moving to China that early, did that inspire you to just continue traveling? Because you, like you said, you've kind of been, I mean, he brought it up in the intro, I don't need to go over, but you've been all over. And to me, a Navy guy who joined the Navy to just travel, like that was my like intention. I wanted to get out there and travel, and like I've been to Hong Kong as well. But yeah, did that just inspire your curiosity to be like, all right, I'm gonna go see what else is out there, because this is awesome?
Yeah, I'd say so. I went abroad in college too, and I think that probably was just like, yeah, I don't know. I've always enjoyed traveling, and then that first year living in China, kind of like, and then the fact that I decided to stay for almost 8 years, that kind of just like,
Yeah,
I did enjoy living as an expat. I'm definitely enjoying having Chicago as my home base right now. But no, I mean, it's nice being in Chicago, just having access to all the resources that we have here.
Mhm.
But I mean, I love living abroad. I met my wife while living abroad. I know she enjoyed it as well. Like, it's something I would consider doing in the future, but the circumstances would have to be right.
Yeah, and we gotta make sure baby number one comes out and is stable,
Yes.
ready to go first. Congrats, by the way. I don't think I congratulated you properly. I think maybe I sent a DM. So congrats on that. It was a hell of a way to announce it out there at the summer games. The game. I don't know if I can say the word or not on YouTube, but yeah, how you were just out there. You announced it. I also think that maybe you just missed Pang Zai a lot. Am I saying his name right?
Pong Zai.
Pang
Yes.
Zai. Yeah.
Yes.
You got to miss that guy. That guy's a legend.
He is. And it's like, he actually lives maybe like a 2-hour drive, 3-hour drive from the Great Wall of China, but he's never even been there. Like, yeah, like I don't really think he's left his hometown.
Yeah, he's stationary.
Yeah. So it's like, I bet I could eventually, if I pitched it and like, I don't know, we found a sponsor or raised some funds, like I'd be able to be like, hey, Pongzai, I'll fly you out to the US free of charge. It's all on me. But like, I don't even know if he would do it, if he would just be like a little too nervous.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's funny though, when we were in Chicago, we saw you the day before that part 2 of that Pongzai video was coming out, and you were telling us that when we saw you in the office, I think it was, and I was like, no way. And I remember I went back that night to the hotel and I watched the part 1 of that, and I was like, dude, this guy, I mean, like, do you remember the Miller Lite Vortex bottles?
Oh,
that
yeah.
had that little thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it reminds me of every time he does that little like thing like that. And I mean, no one can do it like him though. Like, I've seen people do it, and people are good at it, but he finishes his, like, it's just, I don't know. And his vibe, dude, like, I can see why you guys get along so well, even though, like, I think you even say it in your videos, like, you guys don't speak, like, I don't know, it's all broken because he doesn't speak perfect English, whatever, but you guys are still able to communicate so well,
Yeah. We just kind of have to use a translator and just general vibes to communicate.
Yeah. I think that's admirable. A relationship built off vibes. That's tough to come by. That's how you know, like, hey, that's my brother right there. Which is incredible, and something that it shows that you vibe with just about anyone. I mean, like I said, you've gone to the DR with White Sox Dave, who is a crazy guy on himself, and you've also been to the Hong Kong Sevens with PFT, a very famous video, probably the reason that PFT commentator gets called the drug guy.
Yes.
But I mean, what kind of experience is that? Because I've indulged before. I've been to festivals like that, but never the Hong Kong Sevens. Would I imagine doing some shit like that? So how was that experience? If you could just walk me through that, like on your side, like what do you remember from that day? Because I feel like you had to watch the vlog to remember most of it.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of just shocked at how down PFT was to like film all that and put it on camera. Like, I definitely knew that like drugs were available in Hong Kong, and there's like always people coming up and offering you stuff. I did not think when I like proposed it to PFT, I was like, oh, some guy just offered me Molly, and he was like, oh, let's film it, do it on camera in the vlog.
Oh, he said it beforehand. I thought he took it and then it was like, yeah, let's fucking film it, whatever, dude.
No,
That's
no,
funny.
this was
It
like,
was
he
like
was like,
pre-
all right, let's like film us like doing this right now.
He's not a drug guy though.
No.
He's not, yeah, he's not a drug guy. And he was probably like, I'm already going to be back in the US when this vid comes out. So like, I don't think he was worried about getting in trouble, but I was like,
Yeah,
I'm still
true.
going to be in Asia. So like,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was a lot of fun. I guess I ended up being like, almost like, well, Chef Donnie was the one who filmed that. He was the true babysitter, kind of like watching after me and PFT. But then I felt like I'm usually not the like soberest guy in the vid, but I was definitely more sober than PFT in that vid.
I think there's a moment PFT is trying to interview someone. He has no idea what he's trying to say. He just
Yeah.
I loved, like, I think maybe that was like because I was such a big PMT guy. When he did that video with you, it got me like into like watching more of your series and stuff. But that video, I was like in tears the entire way through. It was incredible.
And then like, here's the funny thing about that vid. When it came out, my parents were pissed. They're like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, why are you just doing Molly in a foreign country on camera? And then we got an email from Erica Nardini, and she was like, oh, this vid's great. Like, we should be sharing this more. And so I was like,
fucking
hey,
love
Mom.
this company.
Yeah. So I was like, Mom, Dad, it's helping my career. You can't complain
Yeah.
that much.
Yeah, I
It's in
you
my
might
contract.
you might be the only guy that could do drugs to help your career. That's insane. You know? Jersey Jerry had to hop off him to get his going, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I also like, I didn't know, like, when we were owned by Penn, I definitely wouldn't have put out a video like that, I don't think. And now that we're not, it's like when I went back to Hong Kong, I was like, I don't know, there's going to be a lot of pressure on me to be filming another Hong Kong Sevens video and not do Molly.
Yeah.
So I did indulge a little bit, but I never explicitly said those words in the video.
Was this one where you were like you were helping the security? You were being the czar
Yes.
of the sections?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
Every time someone was cranking a hoon, you would go down and steal it and then tell on them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without the
It was-
yellow cards, red cards.
Yeah.
That was great.
It was all in good fun. I was
Yeah.
hoons as well.
Right. That's what I was gonna say too. And you were talking about the Shanghai Warriors videos. I'm like, yeah, it probably doesn't look great if you're sitting there just filming, just ripping hoons on the side, and then you're like, all right, my turn. I'm coming in now. So
Yes.
but those were great videos. Speaking of though, how many languages do you speak? Do you speak more than one, or is it just broken a little bit? Or
When I moved to China, I spoke zero Chinese. And so like even today, I have survival Chinese, as I call it. So you could like drop me in the middle of China and I would be able to navigate or survive at least. So it's just a really basic conversational. And then with Spanish too, like I took Spanish for many years, but then I think moving to China, I replaced a lot of the Spanish I knew with Chinese words. So that's why White Sox Dave was my translator when I went to the DR. But I don't know. I think my his Spanish might have been slightly better than mine, but his Spanish accent needs some work.
Yeah, Chicago Spanish is
Yeah,
weird.
exactly.
Spanish.
It's like Midwest Spanish. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was
Chicago
tough.
Spanish.
But that honestly, dude, to me, that's even more incredible that you don't speak like other languages and you travel to all these countries and you're still able to like connect with the people there and make these videos. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, I see videos of like, you know, a white guy goes to China and he speaks like perfect like Mandarin, and they're like, oh, look at him, you know, whatever. It's like you just have that by just just being yourself. So I mean, kudos to you, dude. Not to just, you know, glaze you or anything like that, but that's kind of what I just did. But it's pretty amazing that you don't speak any other languages besides just like, you know, survival languages, I guess you could call them, like you said.
Yeah, I'm definitely not
speaks-
fluent, but
Yeah, no, it speaks to his vibes. Something we already spoke on. He just got good vibes. People seem to. I mean, what you were doing at Camp Barstool, the vibes were all the way up. I made you my beast of the week. You know, ass out in the water, doesn't matter. Donnie's going out there to do it. Yeah, it was and we were a big fan. I think one of our comments on our last video was you know, Donnie's stream saved Camp Barstool, just because it helps us feel involved. Like we want to see what the hell's going on after hours, and that's awesome. You said there's a video coming out tonight too, huh?
Yeah,
it's like an encapsulation of it all. So yeah, by the time if you guys are watching this, make sure you check that out. There's something before I hop off the Chinese stuff. Did being there make you get into crab rangoons? How'd that all come to be? Because now you've got your Wonton down, you got the series. Apparently, I think hold on, I read this as well as part of a bio. A cultural cosmonaut who travels the globe. Seeing anything that might make you say, well, that's weird. He also happens to be a world-class crab rangoon.
Yeah,
chef.
I wrote that down here. I said Google AI, and Google itself says you're a world-class crab rangoon chef, and world-class means one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
So how did we get that?
So I loved crab rangoons before moving to China. I think maybe I became more obsessed with them after moving, because you can't find crab rangoons in China.
What?
Oh shit!
No, yeah, it was invented in the U.S. So yeah, it's like just quintessential American Chinese. So yeah, when I couldn't get them in China, I think that's probably around the time I started just make them on my own, and then it's usually what I would be craving every time I came home from China.
Oh no! What that's so the irony there is crazy. I just came back from China, and I'm craving crab rangoons. Yeah, most of
which
us
is American Chinese.
Yeah, I would not have known that. I would not.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
I'm a big egg roll guy. I thought about starting a series called Johnny's Egg Roll, but I feel like it's probably a better OnlyFans name, so I'm gonna wait off on that.
Are you guys from the New York area?
I'm from Ohio. I live in Toledo. You've actually been in my backyard, Putin Bay.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So I was watching that with my girl the other day, and she was like, "Oh my god, that's hilarious." I think we people in that video are like regulars at the restaurants that I run. So I know a few of those guys like in there.
Yeah, I'm from New York though. I'm from Long Island originally.
Something we breezed over, and I need to get it out. Teaching people how to play football in Uganda with Billy, that had to have been a challenge. Just because it's Billy football, you can see the emotion he put into it. Anger, tears, blood, sweat, whatever. How was that like going over there with Billy? I mean, you could tell he took it seriously. What was that experience like working with Billy football? Coaching football.
It was great having him along for that series, because if I tried to do that solo, I guess it would have just been like, an American journalist goes to Africa to watch a football game. But the fact is, I wouldn't have been able to coach that team on my own. But the fact, once we got Billy involved, then it's like, hey, you guys, if you want to take the reins, you can just coach this team. And yeah, he was clearly very passionate about it. And I learned that he loves to travel too. So yeah, overall, that was great. I loved his passion. I loved the fact that he was slowly losing his mind while out there. And obviously after the first game, he was devastated.
Very upset. Yeah.
So really had that was kind of my first time really working with Billy, but it was awesome. I obviously had a lot of people ask oh, that must've been tough having to deal with.
And he's getting hammered the night before a game.
Well, I was just gonna say, you did all these drugs with PFT. You guys are getting
drunk as fuck.
But drugs with PFT. You're drinking at all these games and stuff. I just can't imagine you being, if it was not football coaching with Billy football. If you were like, hey Billy, we're gonna go to the Hong Kong Sevens. I just imagine you two, or him getting arrested and you having to stop it or something, because he's so passionate about anything and everything that I feel like if you take him, besides being in a football thing where he's still drinking, but he was still pretty focused on what he needed to do, at least, not just, getting hammered,
Yeah, no, I would. So the only situation that we ran into out there was after the game. We flew home the next day, and he's obviously still devastated about the loss, and we were cheated by the refs. And so he's just slugging beers. And then we show up to the airport, and the lady at the front gate is like, oh, I'm not going to let your friend in because he seems too drunk.
Oh God.
I had to be like, oh, don't worry. Like, he's going to drink a lot of water after he gets through security. And they're like, okay, he better not have any more beers. And then we get through security. We wait an hour and a half. And then he was like, yo, can I just have one more beer? And I was like, I'm not your mom. Like I don't care if you want to have another beer, just like I'm going to be getting on that flight. And like, as soon as he cracks it, somehow the same lady that checked us in walks by.
Oh
and
my
then
gosh.
she comes running up to me. She's like, I thought you said he wasn't going to drink anymore. And she's like, he's like, we're not letting him on that plane. And she's like yelling at me. And while she's yelling at me, Billy just runs and gets on the plane.
I knew you were going to say that.
But even if they had like taken him away and they're like, we're not going to let you fly, like I would still be getting on that plane 100%.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah. You got a job to do.
I was like,
Yeah.
friends or not, dude, that's a situation where it's like, all right, dude, you know what you could have done to not have this happen. Like, I'm sorry. So thank God that worked out though.
I've got only a couple more. I know we're on a time crunch. The Everest vlog, also another great series you put out with the Everest episodes. Shout out Michelangelo for going up there with you, right? That's who went with you.
Yep.
Also, I need you to put a plug back into MA's ear and let him know to come on the breakdown. He when the Barstool layoffs went down, he tweeted at us that he wanted to come on, and I haven't heard from him since. So I would love to talk to MA and hear about his experiences as well, because I love what he does with the roof ball documentary, everything.
Yes, no, he was a great guy to travel with for sure.
Mm-hmm. My favorite part of that vlog maybe is the Stella Blue rap. How long does it take you to come up with a banger like that? Like that was nuts.
Yeah, so we kind of like walking up, it was like a 6-day walk up, or like a 6 or 7 day walk up. And then halfway through, we realized we were like, wait, so we walk up and then we have to walk back down? Like, we're like, damn,
crazy.
Because then at that point, it's like the whole series is about getting up there. It's like I'm not going to do a whole series about walking down. So we were like, oh, but you can get helicopters. And then we kind of hatched the idea because like Big Cat was like, yeah, you can say Stella Blue is the sponsor or something. So then I pitched the idea. It's like, what if we made a music video for you up there and you pay for the helicopter?
Yeah.
It was down. So then like the last 2 days of the hike, I'm just kind of like brainstorming lyrics. You have like a lot of time to think on those hikes. But we still had no idea like what the beat was going to be or anything.
Yeah.
But I figured out enough lines that I was like, we could just like film me doing this stuff up at base camp, like trying to take a poo, finding a bag of Stella Blue coffee, like filming the helicopter. And then when I came down, a guy, Riffy Beats, reached out, and he's a music producer. And he was like, yeah, like if you want to use one of my beats, we can work something out. So yeah, I found a beat that would work. And then Corey Rutledge at Barstool helped me like film like a few last scenes in front of the green screen for that.
Yeah, on the toilet, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. I can imagine. I mean, it was a hell of a. I think the day after you posted it, they showed on the Yak twice that next day because it was a banger. It's up there as far as Barstool bangers go. It's up there with like Drink Paint, you know. It's an incredible thing. And so was that whole series. If those watching, if you haven't watched the Everest vlog, it's one up there with my favorite stuff that you've done, which I could say about most of the stuff you do, because like I said, you're an inspiration to those of us that are trying to learn how to vlog. Study Wonton down, because is there ever any fear for you to go live? Because it's like now you're getting the backpack and you're just going live all the time.
Yeah, that's like that's something I'm still trying to figure out. Like I would like to try doing like a live stream at a college tailgate at some point this fall. But then it started to think, it's like, how many college kids are going to cancel themselves on that live stream?
Just thinking that. How many of the Ben word is going to be said?
Right. Ben Schramm wants to do a case race with me and for on this show. And I was like, no, dude, like, I'm not going to let your mouth get like, 12 beers deep and then go, no, fuck no.
Yeah.
Speaking of drinking, I didn't bring this up before, but I got to say it because it's on one of my questions here. We got to try a new food next time. That doesn't have to be specifically at the Shanghai Shacks game, but we got to try something else besides a pepper. We need to try like an orange or something sweet. I don't know how, but like it's got to be something sweet where I feel like an orange, if you stab that, you know, you kind of twist it around in there. You can, I mean, you can't fit as much as a pepper, obviously, but it might taste a little better. That's all.
I think it's a bad
Yeah.
pick.
I had in like the very first time I tried the green pepper method, I also injected like an orange and a grapefruit, and like all of my fruit got confiscated. Like while walking in, they were like, no outside food allowed. So I never got to try it, but then luckily I still had a green pepper in my pants. That was
Wait, I don't remember that. That was in that first video?
Oh, so I don't even know if I included like all of the footage of it.
Gotcha.
I think there are some shots of me like
I do
injecting
remember
fruit,
injecting some of it. Yeah.
but it was all that stuff was taken away from me as I went through security, and that one green pepper was all I had left.
That's so funny. Dude, this year,
I want to try it.
holy shit, the amount that you put in there, dude. I was like, that is
that
a
was a
deadly
lot.
amount of vodka, dude.
What
You ever
what
try it? You don't like tequila? I feel like it'd be better with the spice.
Well, so I was just using a green bell pepper, but I do think tequila and jalapeno peppers would be really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could almost have like 6, and they're all just like personal shots.
Yeah, I buy
True.
bottles of tequila for the bar that are jalapeno flavored. That's, I mean, they go hand in hand. That you have an upcoming trip, at least it's been talked about on the Yak. You're taking all the bald guys to get fixed. How's that work? And also, are you just going to go because you're not bald?
Yeah, I'm going because I've traveled to Turkey before, and I feel like everyone will feel more comfortable with me, like as the tour guide and stuff. And also, I'll be filming content about the whole trip too. And so, yeah, and that is coming up because right now we're planning on going mid-October.
Oh, no shit.
And I already have 5 fans that like they've looked at the dates and the price, and they're like, "Yeah, we would go too." So
no way. Nice.
Yeah, so hopefully it's like 4 Barstool employees, well 5 including me, and then 5.
So who's the
Foolish.
4? White Sox Dave, Rudy, Eddie,
Nicky Smokes.
Smokes.
White Sox Dave, Eddie, Ken Jack,
Oh,
and
Ken Jack.
yeah, and
Smokes.
Nicky Smokes are all confirmed. Rudy just reached out like a couple days ago, and he was like, "I want in as well."
Yeah,
It's fucked
Fasoli
up,
was
dude. He's got
fucking
the
him up.
tiniest little patch. He's fine.
No,
It's
Fasoli
I
was
think-
fucking him up at camp, and Brandon Walker let us know about it. That drone did Rudy dirty.
I think he'll be fine. I also think like if this trip works out well, I could turn this into like a yearly group trip.
serious. Yeah. Truth.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
Donnie does fixing bald spots. I mean, who'd have thunk? You're a hero.
yeah. So if you like see this and you're like, oh damn, I might want to go, wait and see how this first trip goes, and then be like, okay, now I'm on board. But first, let the guinea pigs go.
You could do that, and then you could take Jersey Jerry and you could pick people and go get some BBLs as well.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yes.
That's a good one. Turkey, they've settled down over there, right? Wasn't there a coup not too long ago?
I think that was a while ago because that was definitely even before the last time I went. That was maybe 2015 or 2014.
I don't know. I have a foreign exchange student I still follow on Instagram. I had a crush on her in high school. She's cute. Yeah, so we keep up like that. But Turkey seems amazing. I'm excited to see the content that comes out of that because, like I said, you do a great job with everything. I think I've run through most of my list as fast as I could. The last thing I have, it's more of just a relaxing question because you're a man who knows how to relax, who knows how to go hippo mode. Favorite place you've ever gone hippo mode?
Ooh, you know what? I think I made a TikTok about that. That's also one thing, like you were saying, like people look to me to learn how to vlog. It's like now these TikTok vlogs have gotten so popular, but it's kind of like you either have to film for a YouTube vlog or you have to film for a TikTok vlog. They're both like filmed completely differently.
Yeah.
So there are times when it's like I personally don't have too much time for TikTok, but then it's like if you want to stay relevant, like that's like the one app that a lot of people use. I mean, on my honeymoon, I went to Bora Bora. That was a pretty unreal hippo mode spot, but was it
Was it your favorite?
Yeah, that is tough. I forget. Oh yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a spot called like the Queen's Baths in the Bahamas on the island of Eleuthera.
Okay.
The Marina Bay Sands Hotel in
It's a great last name.
Singapore. That's just like there's like a giant pool all on the roof.
I've
trying to
also
think-
been to Singapore. I've gone hippo mode in Singapore.
Okay.
It's a beautiful place. Beautiful.
You just have like an album that just says like hippo mode, and you're just looking
Oh,
through
no,
like all your favorites.
I looked up this. I looked up the vid I made for my like top 5 places I've been.
Yeah, I might just have to go and steal your TikTok and throw it in.
Yeah,
here
so
people can
I
see it.
think, I mean, the craziest place, and this actually wasn't on the trip that I did with Za. I went abroad to Africa in college. I was in Botswana, and then we went to Victoria Falls, which is like on the Zimbabwe-Zambia border. And they have like a pool that's on the edge of the waterfall.
Yeah.
And so we were able to like swim out to the edge of the waterfall, and you're just like going hippo mode, like pretty much on the largest waterfall in the world.
That's sick.
Unfortunately, when I went back with Za, they're like, it was closed at the time. Maybe just because they realized it was far too dangerous, or it was,
Yeah, it seems like
too dry. Yeah. I'm
You
not
brought
sure.
You brought up Singapore. You know that what is it? 2 or 3 buildings that have that huge ship on top of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So on top of that ship, there's like a huge pool.
Oh, is there? So,
Oh,
so when I went, obviously, like I said, I was in the Navy, so we were just on a port call. We weren't allowed to go to that building because that's apparently where like gangsters and like the leaders of all that stuff hang out. So we're not allowed to associate with that area because it's
Oh,
a known
shit.
trouble spot. Yeah, I had no clue, and I was pissed off because it was the coolest looking building. I mean, no, it's not because they got Burj Khalifa there, or no, that's Dubai. Yeah, now I'm getting lost in my travels. But yeah. Yeah, that the Singapore, that I really wanted to go hippo mode in that boat on top. It looked insane, so I'm jealous. Yeah, that again, that's all. Frankie, do you have any last? I think we're pretty close to that 5. Yeah, we're.
I was saying, I know you got a
Yeah.
pretty you got to head out of here soon here, but the
Yeah,
only
I
other
can do
thing I
probably,
had.
like,
No, I'm
Yeah,
just,
no, you're
sorry.
good. Yeah.
I'm just saying the only other thing I put here was like the first thing that I wanted to say, and I guess I just forgot because I had mentioned it before. But congrats to you and the wife, dude. Honestly, that's amazing. I got 2 kids myself, so they're the worst at times and the best of times. So just know that. But are you excited to be a dad?
Yes, I am excited. Like, I'm getting to the age where it's like I wanted to have kids at some point in my life, and it's like if I wait much longer, like I'm just going to be exhausted all the
So
time
just,
trying to play with them.
Dying. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. So I figured it's a good time. The kid is due in February of this coming year. It's going to
Great
be,
month.
because I've always had a job that's like involved a lot of travel. Like that's going to be, because I assume at least for the first 6 months, I don't think I'm going to be doing much travel. And if I do, like maybe like a really short trip here or there.
Dude, you won't be traveling much. Believe me.
no,
That thing comes out.
I
You
won't
think
be.
like, oh, maybe I'll do this or that. You are just attached to that thing for as long as you can be, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's incredible.
we didn't even bring up Rediscovering America. You could do Rediscovering Fatherhood. Yeah. Which, by the way, Rediscovering America, another great one. Yeah, I brought up. How you
Can't believe we didn't
today.
fucking bring that up.
I
Like,
mean,
Nick and KB are like my favorite 2 people like in the world. So like that
They get
is
enough
my
shine, that's
Favorite
why.
things.
I see
But having him on there
blue
with them is
raspberry.
amazing. Yeah, got my little blue raspberry guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was fun. That first season of Rediscovering America, like we filmed that during COVID where I couldn't travel that much. So it's like I didn't have a lot of abroad stuff coming out. And so like I had a lot of time to just focus on like helping produce and edit those vids. And like it was so much fun to edit just because like every place we went, like, there was just a lot of gold in there to sift through.
Yeah, dude, you went to when you did the Florida one. I'm from Florida now. I moved down here. I live in Naples, which is obviously not like where you guys were trying, but you guys went to the Everglades, right? Or
Yeah.
So it's pretty close. And I have my sister's friend owns like huge property in the Everglades that actually they did a Naked and Afraid episode on her property. And I was like, God, if I could have just knowing you guys were going there and reached out to her. I was like, that would have been insane.
Yes.
But if you ever do come back, let me know, because I do have a hookup for some spots out there.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we can do more of those in the future. They're a lot of fun.
They're incredible, dude. It's just like the best, some of the best content, honestly. Like when you did the pilgrims and they came as the pillhead thing, like I don't know, that was just such a stupid joke. I laughed so hard at that though. It was just amazing. So
that was great.
I'm pretty sure, didn't you just find your mom in Chicago too in the recent one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that lady in there. Yeah, you guys, that dynamic. Like I said, you're a guy that runs off vibes, and you vibe pretty well with everybody. And I think you're selling yourself short about being tired playing with the kid. We saw you in every single event at Barstool Camp, so it doesn't look like that motor is turning off anytime soon.
That's true.
Which is what I think we all admire about you, man. Like, and you keep going forward and doing it. And I want to say thanks for coming on, Barstool Breakdown and breaking down what Donnie does, to where he is now. We appreciate you.
Nice. Yeah,
we got to figure out what Donnie did.
That's right.
If I ever do like a travel podcast in the future, you can hop on and share your experiences in the Navy.
Yeah, I would love to. Yep. Like I said, I've been to Hong Kong, Dubai, Singapore, Malaysia. Let's see, Oman. Shit. I'd have to go through my Instagram now to remember them all. But then I got flown out and I spent a week in Djibouti, Africa. I was there for the 4th of July. It was hell on earth.
Djibouti. I haven't heard great things.
Fucking hell. I mean, that's pirate territory.
Yes. You guys remember that song where it's like, I woke up in a Lamborghini. Like, how does it go? Like, oh no,
I woke up in a new Bugatti.
I woke up in my new Bugatti. I want to do a remix being like, I woke up out in Djibouti.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. And you just got to talk. Literally,
there's the new jam, dude.
This could be a spoiler. This could be a spoiler for your travel pod. What they do with the Navy guys out there is like when it's summer. I mean, I imagine it's pretty hot out there all the time, but summer you're looking like 110, like walking outside in your fucking digities. They put you in Connex boxes that are built to be refrigerators. Okay. So, and then they put an AC in there. They install that in the unit, but it's built to be a refrigerator to keep it cold. So like the rooms are nice and cold, but as soon as you walk outside, that place is hell. And you have to wear a uniform. They can't, and Navy's got to fix their uniforms out in Djibouti for those guys, because I feel bad. They made me pay because they didn't have a flight for me for 2 weeks after I got there. And I was already spending a week there. I was like, there's no fucking way I'm spending a month out here. So I spent $1,300 to fly myself back. But yeah.
Can't be treating the troops like that.
Nope, never got reimbursed either. Come on, Navy. But thanks again for coming on, man. We appreciate you. We'll be tuned into everything that comes out forward, including that video tonight. Everyone check out, the experience at Camp Barstool, the way that Donnie did it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You have anything you want to plug?
No, I guess like with the live streams, like some people have been asking me, are you only doing live streams now? It's like, no, I'll still be doing footage that's filmed and then edited at a later date, but just like having the capabilities to kind of just go live is great. And we're going to be experimenting with like how to use it. Biz hit me up like out of the blue, and he was like, yo, how was that hike up to Everest? And I was like, oh, it was great. We spent like 4 days up at base camp. And then he was like, but then why didn't you climb to the top? And I was like, well, it probably costs around $100K, and it can take up to 2 months.
Months, right? Yeah.
And it's like, I haven't been training at all.
Right.
Because I think he was like, oh, I kind of want to climb Everest, but I don't think he realized like how big of a commitment it is.
Yeah.
It's just like, we just take Mad Honey and just walk a little bit, right? He's just trying to get fucked up.
But I guess he has gotten really, he's caught the hiking bug. So he wants to do more of that. And I might be visiting him in Vancouver in a couple weeks. And then we're going to try to live stream like a full 6-hour hike. So like go live at the mod. Yeah.
I know you have all the resources in the world, and guys like MA, they always, but if you ever need a spare cameraman that's, experienced with a camera and not afraid to travel, hit me up. I'm there for you. Say no, got your back. Just throw my name out there. But yeah, again, you've given us more than enough time. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I'll talk to you guys later.
It's the Barstool Breakdown. Go ahead and give it to me. Breakdown, let's listen to those guys. Breakdown, what's happening at Barstool? this week. Breakdown is more time. It's more time.